talking with you a little bit about the history, political science, and pre-law programs at Charleston Southern University. Very often, these three disciplines, or two disciplines and a general concentration, go together. And at CSU, they have cooperated very well for many years. Certainly, this is the way the program was organized when I came. And I feel like it has grown stronger in the time that I've been here, with many new faculty and a variety of different specialties and talents. What I want to talk about first is why these majors really matter. These are part of what are called the liberal arts. And in studying any of the liberal arts, you get a set of skills that are applicable for the rest of your life in all manner of ways. Whether your interest is history or political science or in law, whether you want to pursue a career in education or in the court system or in some other avenue of life, what you get as a history major or a political science major is this set of skills that are valuable no matter what. You spend a lot of time reading a lot of different things, and as you read, you're exposed to the ideas of different civilizations and different people, different thinkers over thousands of years. You yourself become a thinker. You spend time thinking deeply about what you have read. And then we expect you in one way or another to write about that, whether that's in formal essays and term papers or informal essays on tests. You will express your ideas. You will make an argument and gather evidence to support that argument. And then very often you will also get up and talk about it, whether informally in a class discussion setting or much more formally in a presentation before your peers. All these things are elements of the liberal arts, but they're also elements of many, many careers that you might choose to pursue. So these majors that we have to offer prepare you for virtually anything. I want to talk specifically about what the majors are like at CSU and answer the question that every parent is already asking: what do you do with this degree? And then leave some time at the end for y'all to ask us questions, whether they're specific to history or political science or about the pre-law program. So as I said before, feel free to interrupt, but you have the disadvantage perhaps of being with a professor who's used to thinking in long blocks of time and talking and talking and talking. And I don't want to talk over the things that you're concerned with or interested in. So let me talk briefly about the major that I know the most about, since it is my own field, that is the history major. At CSU, a history major studies a wide range of times and places and personalities. We spend time thinking about the ideas that these civilizations produce and about the consequences of those ideas for other people, for other times, including our own. So if there's an area of history that you're particularly interested in, you will probably find it covered among the many classes that you would take as a history major here. You would have to take a certain number of classes in American history, though you have a choice of time periods and topics. You would have to take a certain number of classes in European history. But again, you have a choice in times and topics and so forth. You have to take classes in non-Western history, global history as well. But you can concentrate on things that you're particularly interested in. So we have courses that focus on American military history and the Civil War era and the American experience in World War II. But we also have classes that are cultural history classes, a course on plantations in the American South, a course that blends the history of the Holocaust with theater techniques. So there's a wide range of possibilities within the history major. And to a certain extent, the same can be said for political science. And Professor Gramling, if you will give them an idea of what the poli-sci majors like.
Certainly. Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to this session. We are very glad to have you here. As Dr. Kirkendall has already said, I teach political science here at CSU, and specifically, my focus is on American government. So all courses related to American government, I typically have a hand in teaching those. So when you look at the slide before you, you'll see that political science is going to cover more, though, than just American government. You also have courses in comparative politics, which is the process of looking at different governmental systems and comparing and contrasting how those systems work and their strengths and weaknesses. You also have courses in international relations, which will look at how these how the global environment and these different nations work and relate to one another. And then, of course, you have courses on political theory, and those courses focus on the philosophy behind government and what philosophies lead into government and different types of government. And so with the different courses you take in political science, you have the opportunity to get a full spectrum of the things that impact government, how it works, and why it works the way that it does. And so as you heard with history, in political science, it's you're also going to be required to take a certain number of courses in each one of these categories. So there's a requirement to take some American government courses, comparative, international, and theory courses. And that way you come out of CSU having a wide knowledge of these different elements of government and political science. In addition, do you want me to just move on, Mr. Kirkendall? Dr. Kirkendall? Okay. In addition to the history major and the political science major, we are offering in the fall a new pre-law and legal studies major. And this major is an interdisciplinary major. And what that means is that rather than focusing on just a single major, the effort's been made to pull from multiple majors the best courses for sharpening the skills you would need to succeed in law school and in the legal profession. And so those courses are drawn from political science, from history, Christian studies, communication, criminal justice, and English. And specifically, those courses include things, certainly courses from a legal studies perspective. So you have Constitutional Law 1, Constitutional Law 2. There's also criminal procedure, criminal law. You'll take potentially courses in communication law. So there's an opportunity for variety of legal studies within that major. But you'll also be courses that are intended to really sharpen and strengthen your analytical thinking skills, your critical thinking skills, and learning how to think for success on the LSAT specifically, which is your entrance exam to law school, so that you can be admitted to those kinds of schools. And so this is interdisciplinary, contains a lot of different options. Now, courses that will be included to sharpen your reading, communication, and writing skills are going to be additional classes in communications. You'll have some additional English courses. There'll also be some Christian studies courses where you will learn how to think about world philosophies. You'll also have the opportunity to study hermeneutics, which teaches you how to interact or how to persuade and think about who you're talking to as an audience. And so there are a lot of opportunities here in the pre-law major to strengthen those kinds of skills. All right, so that is, I think, a basic overview of the history, political science, and pre-law and legal studies major as they stand right now.
Thank you. As we think about Charleston Southern as an institution and what makes it different, part of the difference is what you're hearing right now, and that is the collaboration of faculty, one with another, to benefit the students. I think that you would find, were you to become a part of this department, that your faculty work very well together, and that that's true across disciplines and across the university, so that something like an interdisciplinary major would work very well because the departments communicate well with each other and provide a coherent body of knowledge and set of skills for you to carry on to whatever you choose to do next. But if we think just about history and political science department, what do we do? Well, some of it is sort of obvious. We teach classes that students have to take whether they like it or not. And then, of course, we teach classes that students get to take because they choose to take them. So all of us, there are 6 faculty in the department, 4 historians and 2 full-time political scientists, though we have some adjuncts that help us as well. All the faculty teach survey classes, that is, classes that are for majors and non-majors. They're classes that you have to take to qualify to take the upper level courses in any area. If you're doing AP work now in high school, you may very well come in with the credit already for those survey courses, and you can go right into the upper level classes. The upper level classes themselves sometimes are chronological in history, covering periods of history, say the 19th century, for example, or they're topical or focused on one particular country, modern Germany or the Middle East. Just depends on your particular area of interest, which of these classes you choose to take, though, as Professor Gramling said, you wind up with a wide variety of classes. You're exposed to all the different areas of political science. You're exposed to all the different time periods and regions in history as a major. But you also have the opportunity to do an internship. Now, all CSU students are expected to do at least one class that takes them out of the classroom to give them something new and different. We call this experiential learning, and an internship is a version of experiential learning. You can get a job temporarily for a semester working at a law firm and have a CSU professor sponsoring you, and you keep a journal and write some short papers for the professor, and you get experiential learning credit as well as credit towards your major for that internship. The same way with history, we've placed students with local archaeologists down. We placed them down at Patriots Point Museum on the aircraft carrier Yorktown doing historical site interpretation, put them at various other locations inside the city of Charleston. This is a great place for studying history and for experiential learning in history, as you might imagine. So an internship is one possibility, and it counts as credit towards your degree, as well as checking off that experiential learning box. Though you can also take classes that are experiential learning classes. For example, the plantations course I mentioned earlier, photograph in the middle here is the plantation students at Drayton Hall Plantation. Plantation of the American South class travels to 8 different plantation locations in the Charleston area as part of the regular class meetings. And so you have lectures in the classroom, but you also have site visits that expose you to something more and different. There are similar kinds of opportunities in political science. The department also offers bi-weekly film nights where we show a movie that has a connection to a historical or political science theme. We have a discussion afterwards, put the film up on the big screen, and everybody sit and watch it together and talk about it. Some professors use that for extra credit points as well. We have Friday afternoon roundtable discussions about lunchtime. Gather when the weather's nice outside, when it's not so nice in the campus coffee shop, faculty and students together talking about whatever is on their mind, whether it's a historical topic, a political issue, pop culture, you name it. But it's an opportunity to get to know your professors. And that is one of the great benefits of a school like CSU. Class sizes, especially the further along you go, tend to get smaller, and you have these chances outside the classroom also to get to know your professors. Our department partners with the University of South Carolina to offer a Washington semester opportunity. We've had several students participate in that. It is competitive with USC students as well, but CSU students have regularly won a place in that semester, and you study in Washington, D.C. as well as intern at on Capitol Hill or with a non-governmental organization or museum, depending on your interest, and you get college credit for that. We also participate in the university's study abroad program, which has allowed students opportunities to study in the United Kingdom and in Italy, are the two most recent that I can think of, but I'm sure there have been others. Austria as well, and the Czech Republic. So you have a variety of options here. Professor Gramling, is there something you'd like to say about this?
Just to add on to what you've said and more to provide some examples, for political science students, we've had multiple students that have interned with national senators or representatives. We've also had some individuals who've interned with their state legislators as well. We have had students who have gone on to study political science or a similar related field in Prague. And last summer, we had a student who went to Bolivia with a non-governmental organization to work with those involved in human trafficking there. So there are exciting opportunities, not only in history, but also for students who are studying political science.
Thank you very much. The question that invariably comes from parents is, what do you do with the degree? You're going to do a history major, you're going to teach, but there are all sorts of opportunities with this degree. As you can see from the list on the slide, the options are very diverse. This list was started many years ago, early in my time at CSU, by the faculty in the department at the time, listing occupations of graduates from CSU that they knew and where had they gone. And it's been added to off and on over the years. So you can see that a history degree or political science degree or pre-law degree prepares you for a wide range of possibilities. Now, of course, we're very pleased with the fact that one of the senators from South Carolina, Tim Scott, is a Charleston Southern graduate, a political science major, though neither Professor Gramling nor I can say that we taught him or are in any way responsible for his success. And of course, he is part of an extremely elite group for which there are not that many job openings. However, his experience perhaps suggests to you the possibilities. An undergraduate degree prepares you for any number of things. And if you take it seriously and take advantage of opportunities it provides for doing things outside of the classroom, you'll find yourself very well prepared for anything that requires a set of critical thinking skills and softer interpersonal skills as well. Something I think we are uniquely suited to do. Andrew, you asked the average class size, and it really depends on what level we're talking about. When you come in as a freshman, some classes will be rather large, maybe 40 students in an introductory history or political science class or Christian studies class. But freshman English classes are smaller, 25, though the longer you're in school, the more upper level classes you begin to take, the smaller the classes get. So that you have perhaps 10 students with a professor or 5. This semester right now, the upper level classes I am teaching both have 5 students in them. And one of them is an experiential learning class. So had been going off campus and coming back. There's an overall average, as you can see, that Kimberly Ford has shared with you, but specifically, you need to expect some classes larger than others when you start out, but most of the classes that you will have will be small enough that your professor will know your name very early on in the semester. We have a wide range of topics. A lot depends on what you're interested in, Andrew. With 2 of our 4 historians are American historians, and they teach classes that cover everything from the colonial era up to the present. They also have topical courses like the frontier in American history. We have a class on American history and motion pictures. There's a class on America and the Vietnam War. There are classes that are more topical. There's one on American legal history, if you're interested in that. I teach classes on East Asian history and European history, including a course that's coming up in the spring on modern Britain, so Britain from the Napoleonic period to the present. We have classes on medieval history and the history of ancient Greece and Rome. We have classes on Russia in the Middle Ages and modern times. It really depends on what you're interested in. Yes, Professor Gramley.
Just a quick word that I wanted to add about the smaller class sizes in our upper level courses. And that is, it's not just the relationship that you're able to develop with your professors that's special, but there's also a special relationship that develops amongst these smaller student bodies. And what I've discovered is that even in political science, where individuals have very different political opinions, you find that students are able to really enjoy the discussions. They're able to know one another very well, and they become comfortable in that environment, being able to share and exchange ideas. And so I think that that's something else you need to think about when you think about classes at CSU.
Andrew has said that he is interested in being a history teacher for middle through high school. We have a partnership with our School of Education here as well that would prepare you essentially to do what you're interested in. There's a social studies education major. It has a component that is history heavy, but exposes you also to political science and psychology and sociology and economics. But you also are effectively minoring in, that is taking a concentration of classes in what you need to be licensed to teach in the South Carolina public schools. So that program is definitely something to pursue. Jaden, you're interested in international relation classes. The political science professor who handles that, Dr. Julius Mutwal, is originally from Kenya. He teaches a class on the growth of democracy in Africa, as an example, but he also teaches classes on American national security, on foreign policy, on international conflict, on international economics, and international law. So there are a variety of options in terms of international relation classes as well.